All right. Okay, let's see if I can get this to not suck bad right now. Greetings, YouTube. This is the Garage Autonomist, and I'm lucky. I'm able to do this little bit of a hangout before I have to do the next jackassery thing I got to do. But I had a person who commented under the annoying twin video that I did, and apparently he had left a comment under my Bill the Pill, or no, it was the Till the Pudding Comes Out video back in October. So, what I wanted to do was to answer something that he had said. I'm going to read the comment in its entirety. Hey, what's up, Black Women's Fear? How you doing? It's been a while. I haven't had a chance to go and uh well, I never do get a chance to catch your hangouts because they're just different times and I just have a different schedule. But I'm gonna go ahead and run through this through some of these questions that YouTuber Upful Soul, that's his name, had posted under a comment. First, I'm going to read his comment in its entirety, and then I want to just give me a second here. All right, just give me a second. All right, thank you. Hey, what's up, Pure Buffalo Spirit? How you doing? Let me know if I'm coming in clear. I'm using a different. I'm kind of holed up in a different room at the apartment. I took off today. Uh, I mean, at my job, we're opening, but I had to get some things done here at the apartment today, and I'm using a different room. So I hope I'm coming in clear because some other things are happening in the apartment right now with someone else doing some stuff here, some work. So anyway, okay, good. Thank you, um, Black Women's Fear. So I'm going to go ahead and read to you Upful Soul's comment to me, and I want you all to just. Then I'm going to go through his points, and I'll read off some of his points again as I answer them. But here's his comment. All right, cool. So just to give you some background, why am I answering Upful Soul? One, I typically and always do answer the comments posted under my videos, but in the case of the Bill the Pill, no, Till the Pudding Comes Out video, I remember. Oh, shit. Oh, hey, um, I saw a error occurred in my playback screen. Can you all tell me if you could still hear me? Just type one in the chat if you could still hear me. If not, I may have to restart this. Okay, good. Thanks, Pure. Sorry about that, guys. When I saw the error in the actual screen, I thought that I was cut off. So anyway, So anyway, he then posted a new comment under the annoying twin video and said, "Oh, I guess you were afraid of answering my last comment back in October." And I was like, no. And then it turned out I did tell him that I was going to respond that Sunday, but because I'm an active parent, whose kids know where their father is come 7:30 p.m. every night, I had shit to do that Sunday. And also, I think my wife was leaving out of town that Sunday night. So I knew I had triple duty that coming week. So I just didn't get around to doing it, answering him. And then next thing you know, I just forgot all about him. And that's all that happened. Okay. Ace says he doesn't hear anything. Ace, maybe you may want to reload the, you may want to hit reload on the screen on your browser. But I'm gonna go ahead and get to this now. I've already wasted 5 minutes or some shit. Let's see here. Yeah. All right. So let me just get to this. Okay, so according to Upful Soul, this is what he says. Bill Cosby wasn't given a fair trial and the case was politically motivated. Many lawyers have analyzed the case Many lawyers that have analyzed the case have concluded the same thing. A lot of his accuser's testimony was very weak and just given to have an emotional impact on the jury. Also, his Quaalude's testimony was sealed as part of a civil case and had nothing to do with the current criminal trial court case. Sorry, lots of people, let alone celebs, use party drugs and even stronger drugs than Quaaludes. Okay. You're really drinking the Kool-Aid on this one. The Me Too movement only gives a damn about white women and particularly middle-class white women. Did Me Too help the Charlemagne or African Bambaataa accusers? Asia, one of the Me Too movement's flag flyers, is a statutory rapist, and another one, Lena Dunham, was heavily rebuked for calling a mixed race accuser. I have no idea. Anyway, a liar who had claimed that Dunham's friend, and I forgot that case. Was it Weinstein or was it anyway? I think it was Weinstein. Had sexually assaulted her, and Judd Apatow was doing press runs admonishing Cosby. But when his friends got accused, you heard crickets from him. That's typical, of course. I'll agree with him on that. Also, do you think Tavis Smiley, Morgan Freeman got fairly treated by Me Too? And we just don't have any clear data on how many accusers lie. I'm sure the famous and wealthy are lied upon more than average individuals. They should avoid one night stands altogether. I agree on that. But for different reasons, as anyone could make an accusation about them and ruin their reputations, even if they don't have any evidence. You claim Bill did nothing, but he did more than most black people and created positive shows. He also encouraged education. He also helped a lot of black people in the entertainment industry. There's many people in history who are revered today, but their dark sides weren't revealed, but are just as bad as him if he did indeed do what he was accused of. You claiming that people that support him should jump in a river makes you sound like a radical feminist. That prevailing attitude is the reason he couldn't he couldn't get a fair trial. All right. So though that was his comment in its entirety, I have not edited it in any way. And I had to refrain a great deal from doing the usual garage stuff, which is to be a smartass, which which I can do. Um, my children are like that too, but they get that from their mother, not from me. I'm the good one. Anyway, here we go. So his first point, Cosby wasn't given a fair trial and the case was politically motivated. Many lawyers that have analyzed the case have concluded the same thing. Here is my answer. Roe v. Wade was a case. Brown versus, oh, sorry, I'm just getting some of these together in my head, but here we go. Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka. That was a political case. Browder versus Gale. Loving versus Virginia. Now, Theodore L. Becker, a scholar, writes that in a case, all trials are political since courts are government agencies and judges are part of the quote unquote system. All judicial decisions can be considered political. A political trial is characterized by the fact that public opinion and public attitudes on one or more social questions will inevitably have an effect on a decision. So let's just put it to you this way. Now, we know that by pure coincidence, the Me Too movement gained popularity through social media because of a handful of celebrities. The thing is that their issues were just as valid as anyone else who may have experienced sexual assault, harassment, proposals of you scratch my back, I scratch yours for sexual favors, or just straight up rape by mostly assaulters who are mostly men historically, in positions of power or in positions of influence, using that as leverage for sex or rape, I would rather put it. Because if you're not a willing participant one way or the other, even if you're trying to gain favor or whatever you want to call it, you're a person in power and responsibility, and you're using that as an advantage. Now, um, this is a condition that people are looking to end. There are men out there who agree that it should end, and the men are speaking out as well, and they are standing with some women. There are men out there who really are or want to be genuine allies. There are some men out there, like Terry Crews, for instance, who were actual victims of this. The Me Too movement came out and supported him. Um, and that is how societies change and progress. In other words, you have a movement, it fights, it encourages people to speak out or whatever it is, whatever it's trying to do. And if by some chance these fights can make it into the courts, then things change. Okay. So that is how we move ahead. Something that I think a lot of you guys don't like. You don't like that because you like the way things used to be. Shit, people can get away with shit in the dark. Men can have the constant leverage, and it's now being challenged, and you don't like it. No matter how messy some of these cases and issues might get, uh, you are going to have some false accusers, but statistically speaking, they are often small. And typically, those who really do have a problem are usually telling the truth. I just have to put that out there. And yes, there are those out there who are not going to, but it is what it is. It doesn't, the movements are not end products of. I know we live in a capitalist society and it influences our way of seeing things, and we see social movements as if they're products that rolled off an assembly line. Therefore, they need to be perfect and this, that, and the other. But that's not the case. Civil rights movement wasn't perfect, which means that you can't stop people from taking advantage of laws of equality, and just because they didn't get a job, they might lie and say, "Hey, I was discriminated against." I mean, that doesn't invalidate the larger movement. What's up out the box? Hey, okay, I gotta stop looking at the chat room so I can get through this. Sorry. I'll get to the chat room in a little bit. Um, anyway, so uh who are these lawyers, by the way? Damn it, hold on. Sorry. I hope y'all didn't hear that. Okay. Who are these lawyers, by the way, um, who said that he didn't get a fair trial? Because I can make two fucking guesses. That, of course, would have been Bill's defense lawyers. I tried looking for these sources myself, but I couldn't find them. So, Upful, when you hear this hangout, uh, don't forget to go ahead and post in the comment section, post your sources or citation needed, as I like to say. All right, next, a lot of his accusers, this is up for soul, a lot of his accusers' testimonies was very weak and just given to have emotional impact on a jury. Well, this is one of the many methods that lawyers use for certain cases, sure. It's a method. It's not unfair. In many other cases, this method may not even work. But if you are but you are only half right in saying that these women's testimonies were could have been or were used for emotional effect, because let's not forget what happens to people. Okay, there's a difference between being a victim and whether you see yourself or you act like a victim. In the case of you bringing something to light that's been done to you, you're not being a victim. And if something was done to you, then it's a personal thing. Yes, an assault, being assaulted in any kind of way, so therefore, you're politicizing something that's personal, that's being done to you. Therefore, if you're talking about it, yes, you are. Emotions are going to be having to do with it, and it should, because this is about empathy. This is about humans having empathy for other human beings. It's about humanizing what was done to you. So, going back, again, this is how societies change and progress. Laws are enacted due to trials and class actions. There is no problem that this trial was politically motivated. The two embryos that represented Bill should know this, and I suspect that they actually do. They just needed that. They just needed to represent their client. That's how come they kept going on and on about he didn't have a fair trial. Um, so anyway, uh, in terms of hold on, I'm just okay. Just needed to send respond to a text. Now, I would certainly say this that I would see as what's important would be seeing the pattern of their shared assaulter, who was Bill Cosby. In other words, their testimonies, no matter if they were emotional or not, is irrelevant. The point is, those testimonies, and this is the most important thing, other than emotional whatever, was to expose uh, the consistency in Bill's pattern, okay, which ultimately was corroborated by his deposition. So, um, uh, in other words, if there was no material or proof that they were assaulted, their words were used and the testimonies were used. A lot of them were thrown out, by the way, um, but a solid pattern of his MO was definitely exposed. And this is why his sealed deposition and his later testimonies were compelling enough evidence for the jury to go with the charge of guilty. So if the women's testimonies were so quote unquote weak, what balanced that out was Bill Cosby's words, um, corroborating with their quote unquote weak testimonies. It's wonderful how things like that seem to work out, huh? Most times, it rarely works. So I don't see how he got an unfair trial. And so I wanted to answer to that. Then you say also his Quaalude's testimony was sealed as part of a civil case and had nothing to do with the current criminal case. The deposition was made admissible this time. I shouldn't even say this time. This all this shit happened almost 4 months ago. The deposition was made admissible this time because because the Associated Press pushed for the unsealing of the 2005 civil case, which Bill settled for in regards to Constance. Um, I hope I'm pronouncing her last name correctly. His accuser, which didn't go to trial. You kind of have to put two and two together. You have a civil case, it never went to trial. He settled out of court, and there were sealed documents. So Associated Press pushed for that, and the courts this time agreed. Now, according to AP, they filed for transparency on behalf of the public. Okay. And there have been many instances and where news organizations have done that same thing in other situations, and they fail because it depends, uh, when you go before a federal judge, because I think you have to be a federal judge in order to unseal documents. And if the argument is compelling enough for another case, they will or will not unseal, and in this case, they unsealed. They've, so that's what happened. Now, uh, just trying to. Oh, right. So this time around, again, testimonies that were, for the most part, consistent with Bill's alleged behavior, along with the fact that the civil case was settled, the judge ordered that the deposition of that civil case be unsealed. Um, Now, Bill's attorneys were just mad because they failed to present a case for them not to do that, and it happened anyway. So these weren't illegal shenanigans. Um, in other words, the unsealing. This is perfectly legal. Um, a sealed document doesn't mean it can't be unsealed. Lots of people, let alone celebrities, this is Upful Soul again. Lots of people, let alone celebrities, use party drugs and even stronger drugs than Quaaludes. Anyway, I posted in October, all right, links that were in the low bar to that, on the effects of Quaaludes on the body at the time that you're high on them, and why the popular point of view is incorrect as seeing it as a party drug just because it was labeled as such. Again, alcohol can be seen as a party drug, but once anyone drinks too much, where they can be a danger to other people or themselves, or become incapacitated beyond moving themselves, then there is nothing partying about that situation. Again, his deposition was very clear. He specifically used that drug in order to have sex, quote unquote, rape those women. All right. There you go. Anyway, I'm going to post a different link this time, just in case you had problems reading the English of the last link. different article, but same conclusions and research attached to it. Upful Soul again. You're really drinking the Kool-Aid on this one. Uh-huh, sure. The Me Too movement only gives a damn about white women and particularly middle class white women. If one's perception is only tuned by mass media, then yes, you could say it's true. It's all about the white women. But we all know that Tarana Burke, a black woman, started this movement about a year after Bill's civil suit. And while just recently, not because of it, I got to make that clear. Um, and and just recently, the LA Times just tried to erase Tirana out of the movement's past as its founder by crediting it all to Alyssa. They quickly had to make a retraction in that article due to the black women and other women of other nationalities responding to it in protest through social media. They put out a retraction. It was like, holy shit, sorry, we're wrong. Um, the perception that we see all the time, that's the issue of mass media. It's mass media that hijacks movements, it's not necessarily other people out there who do it. If all we did was pay attention to the women of corporate America and Hollywood, one would think that the movement only cares about white women, but that's not necessarily the truth. Remember, this movement was started to deal with anyone who was ever a victim of sexual assault, on the job or workplace harassment. So yeah, we're paying attention to it now because celebrities and members of the bourgeois class are doing it, and quite frankly, we shouldn't invalidate what the women or men of that class are going through, just because of who they are. That's ridiculous. Tarana Burke, I'm pretty sure, had in mind of all women going through this. The culprit, if you want to place blame on anything or anyone, is of course the mass media. Mass media has always had a skin issue. In other words, they will always be attracted to and will always run to who they think should be the face of any kind of social movement that they find agreeable. Therefore, they have a Eurocentric issue in that regard and a class issue in that regard as well. Okay, so but we've seen photo ops with Tarana Burke in them, as she is next to Alyssa Milano and others. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all, as long as people keep with the history and the historical fact of this movement and who started it. Now, um, let's see here. You go on to say, um, did the Me Too movement help Charlemagne or African Bambaataa accusers? That is a very good question. One, the Me Too movement was not in full swing during the African Bambaataa uh, case, or that revelation is. We all learned African Bambaataa's accuser is a young gay male, and in terms of the times that African Bambaataa had sexually assaulted him, making promises of being able to take care of him in exchange for sexual favors. The Me Too movement definitely would have looked at that as the classic case of what they're talking about. But remember, those revelations came, I believe, 2015. I remember because I talked about it. Ew. Oh, damn. Okay. I'll get to the chat room because now there's people in here who I really, really want to give a shout out to. So, okay, let me hurry up here. Anyway, so, um, you know, And so I remember the Africa Bavada case broke around 2015. I had just started this channel, and Me Too was not in full swing at the time, but it doesn't matter. The good news is that the accuser did come out and say something that goes in line with the political line of Me Too. So yeah, they weren't around to help him, quote unquote. Let's not forget, movements are one thing. What goes on in the courts, or what the uh, the survivor of assault chooses to do, i.e., go to a lawyer, try to make a case. That's a whole other thing. So the movement is there to encourage it. The movement doesn't guarantee what happens in the court, or even if someone decides to go to court. So you're kind of throwing the Me Too movement on everything at this point. You can't, it doesn't work that way. And it's not about a hashtag. As I've said before, Tarana said it's about giving the courage of people to speak out, and in hopes that action will take place. And action is what leads to change. So, and hopefully, of course, that change will now lead us to think differently about how we act, especially us men. Now, I'm almost done here with Upful Soul's comments. So we're gonna get to the last parts, and then I'm gonna acknowledge the chat. And unfortunately, I'm almost out of time because I have to go and pick somebody up. Asia, well, I gotta find out if the people are done doing their work over here in the apartment. Asia, one of the Me Too movement's flag flyers, this is Upful Soul speaking, is a statutory rapist, and another one, oh, Aja Argento. Yeah, of course. Right. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. He's talking about Aja Argento, one of the flag flyers. That's irrelevant. And I'll explain why. And another one, Lena Dunham, was heavily rebuked for calling a mixed race. I don't know why the woman's race has anything to do with this. Mixed race accuser, actually, in other words, a black woman, a woman of color, who was an accuser. They called her a liar, or Lena did anyway. We know that she did. Who had claimed that Dunham's friend had sexually assaulted her, and I think it was Judd Apatow. And then he says that Judd Apatow was doing press runs admonishing Bill Cosby, but when his friends got accused, you heard crickets from him. Also, do you think Tavis Smiley and Morgan Freeman got fairly treated by Me Too? I don't think Me Too specifically targeted Tavis, but what if they did? The point is to support the accusers, which a lot of people do and did. And they're just basically, you can't make a straight up decision until we begin to hear more about the case. Again, that's another lie that people throw on the Me Too movement, that it's about people just off the bat believing anything that anyone ever says. The point is, again, is that it's about encouraging people to speak up, speak out, and bring shit into the light. All right. So, going back to Lena Dunham, well, we all know that Lena Dunham was a hypocrite for that whole situation. That has nothing to do with Me Too. If matter of fact, we can the thing with people who are part of a movement, or they support it, but then their actions or some of the things they do contradict what they profess, that's old as shit. Okay, that's been going on since the dawn of time. You might as well talk about preachers who commit adultery or whatever. Like, so okay, we find out about Asia Argento. That doesn't invalidate the movement. That's just what Asia Argento did. And guess what? The Me Too movement and people who supported it, they came out and they rebuked her on this stuff. And they definitely came for Lena Dunham. So either you're cherry picking here or you're turning a blind eye to the people's reaction to this stuff, or you just don't know, but I'm letting you know. So no one, I'm sorry, I don't see a contradiction here. Oh God, okay, I gotta get to the chat room and say what's up to a couple of people here. Anyway, so and then he goes, we don't have any clear data on how many accusers lie. Okay, fair enough. I'm sure the famous and wealthy are lied upon more than average. I agree with you on that. They should avoid one night stands altogether. I said that earlier. I agree with that. Um, and that would ruin their reputations, even if they don't have any evidence, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, again, this movement, people do have a tendency to think this movement is about Hollywood. It's not about Hollywood. It just, because unfortunately of our culture of worshiping celebrities, we make it about Hollywood, but we shouldn't. Understand that the Me Too movement is also about the person who works behind a counter at McDonald's and his or her manager, right? The Me Too movement can be about your woman dog catcher and her supervisor, or a client, or anything about, the point is that that's what the movement is about. Okay. You claim Bill did nothing, but he did more than most black people, uh most black people, he says, and created positive shows. All right, first of all, I'm kind of done now because I know where you're going with all this. Let me finish. I don't give a flying fuck what Bill Cosby did with the public. It's one of the reasons why the sealed documents were unsealed. The judge knew and understood that his lawyers from the civil case said they wanted his deposition sealed because it would embarrass Bill Cosby, not hide criminality. Sorry, but that it would embarrass him. And the judge was like, well, you've got one thing of his behavior that's definitely a pattern. And then we have the person, Bill Cosby. Let's unseal the document because that's a contradiction that needs to be destroyed. And so, therefore, I don't care about what he has done. He's encouraged education. Great. Hitler was an environmentalist. What's that got to do with anything? Nothing. Um, There are people who are revered today, but their dark sides weren't revealed. Yeah, well, they didn't get caught. Isn't that unfortunate? Okay. Lastly, you claiming that people should support them should jump in a river makes you sound like a radical feminist. Well, first of all, I'm not a feminist, contrary to popular belief, because I'm a man. White people can't be black nationalists. Men can't be feminists. However, white people can support black nationalism, and men can support feminism. And what a huge, uh, what a huge, uh, what a huge. Sorry, I'm paying attention to the goddamn chat. I'm almost done here. What a huge coincidence that radical feminism, particular, is what I agree with the most out of all the other types of feminism. Uh, so, but no, I'm not a radical feminist. Um, he says he concludes that that prevailing attitude is the reason he couldn't get a fair trial. He got a fair trial. Now, what a lot of us are upset about, and I'm one of them, is that when it comes time to the white males, the real power brokers in our society. We have yet to have seen them get what Bill has gotten. And one will bring up and dredge up, I shouldn't say dredge up, can easily point out the race contradiction here because it is historical and it has happened many times. And yeah, I would almost be close to agree, but once again, doesn't invalidate what Me Too is about, and it does not erase that he actually did those things. You don't let a rapist go because, well, this other thing, this historical situation with race has always happened. No, that's bullshit. If anything, it should be the opposite. We should definitely make sure that people like Weinstein and others get the same fate as Bill because these guys are going to continue to do what they've been doing. All right. So that's it for oh, one more thing. Um a little bit before YouTube ended the direct messaging, I did get an email or message rather from a actually another radical leftist. It was uh an anarchist, and he was like, or he or she, but they were like, I can't believe that you're supporting this, very liberal bourgeois, liberal movement such as Me Too. And I wanted to answer that person, didn't get a chance to, and that's the reason why I'm not able to read their message word for word. I'm going to say that that's unfair that I wasn't able to read their comment to me word for word in its entirety because by the time I wanted to circle back and read that message again, the messaging system was terminated with YouTube. So I can't even remember the person's name. But let me be very clear, being someone who was in the community organizing circles, being someone who was in the anarchist left or left communist circles, being someone who's been, I wouldn't say I'm in the academic left, but anyway, the left has had a Me Too problem for fucking years. The activist circles have had a Me Too problem for years. Therefore, the importance of Me Too also transcends what we see in pop culture. Pop culture is pop culture. Don't let it, just because it's happening there, define that it begins and ends, with the goddamn magazines and television shows. Fuck that. No, the meat what Tarana Burke has brought up is happening to real life people in the real life space. So, that's why I bring it up. It's not about me glorifying celebrities and stuff. And again, if it happens to a celebrity, yeah, so what? Like, they should be able to talk about it. It doesn't invalidate them and what they're going through in any way, shape, or form. Now, let me get to the damn chat. Do I have time to read all of the comments? I just, you know what? Let me just give the acknowledgments. Okay. First, I want to give a shout out to Angela, aka Black Women's Fear. Thank you for showing up. Pure Blood Fly Spirit, Ace Atkins, who I have not heard or seen from in a long ass time. What's up? Elm City, damn, what's up? I looked at you and Masabai. You guys did a gaming um live stream together a couple of days ago. I couldn't get to sleep, and so I was kind of watching that for a little bit, and then I did fall asleep. Um, see, Pure Butterfly Spirit, yeah, and Out the Box, what's up? Thank you for coming, Phoenix. I hope you're enjoying. I think you're on vacation. You're kind of close to a beach. Last I looked, beaches aren't in Phoenix, so I think Uh, so I want to check out some of those videos that you posted as of late. Let's see here. Out the box. This was why I love her so much. I love, see, I get out the box's trolling because she has the same um, sense of humor that I do. So she posted hashtag me too, hashtag me three, me four, etc. All right. So let's see here. Dead Man Animations. Thank you for showing up. As you all know, I talked about Dead Man Animations a couple of videos ago. And Adito Discourse. What's up, man? Adito Discourse is a black punk rocker. Gonna see if I can get with him so we can do so he and I can do a hangout and talk about black people and punk rock. Um and basically you know that whole historical situation. I looked at Adidio. Oh, sorry, I probably didn't say it right. Odidio, right? Odidio Discourse. I checked out his channel, and I know what the brother's all about. So I would love to do a hangout with him on that. I just have to get around to doing that. And out the box says, "I love you, GA. I love you too." Out the box. So look, y'all, I'm gonna have to go, unfortunately, but I just needed to do that response. Am working on some things. Actually, my wife was the one who was telling me that she felt like would be a huge mistake for me to not stop doing videos. As I had said, I was going to stop officially in January when the double uh you know the double degree program that I've was accepted into. um like I said, I have no idea how busy I was going to be. Then the problem was I had no idea I had no idea how busy I would be in these past 4 months. I thought I was going to have 4 months of some solid video making and posting, and that didn't happen. But she's saying, look, why don't you just tell everybody to stay sub to you and watch out for videos that you can post on a quarterly basis, like those big, fat, boring political journals you like to read. No, she wasn't joking. She was, being her usual self. And and she was like, those things come out every quarter. Why don't you just post like that? And you just make big, long, videos and do it that way. So I thought about that. And so we'll see, you know, at least that way I don't make empty promises and stuff like that. So, like I said, I wanted to post some stuff and it didn't happen. But I'm going to see what I can try to do between now and before middle of January when classes start up for me. So in the meantime, I want to thank everybody for coming to this time around, and I definitely want to thank Upful Soul. I am gonna try to be less combative with people who disagree with me. I mean, when they come here to the channel, because it does open up opportunities for me to clear up my positions. I don't I don't expect to all right. I don't expect to have everyone come here who agrees with me on the channel. That was never my intention. I don't want an echo chamber, not necessarily. But I think definitely running people off by acting like an asshole, which I haven't really done. I kind of give people enough time to see what they're really going to come here and what they're going to be about. So that's the thing. I'm gonna do that. And by making these kind of hangouts where I answer, serious questions. And Upful Soul had some serious questions, and I thought that was a good opportunity for me to take advantage of that. Misanthropic One says, please do longer videos. Thank you, Misanthropic One. I think Um, thank you. Out the box says kumbaya. All right. Well, why not? I think I'm gonna strict some of those trolley accounts comments that I left on misanthropic ones videos because all right, fair enough. So yeah, thanks for coming by. All right, y'all. I really gotta go. I'm gonna be running late with this other task that I gotta go do. But I want to thank Upful Soul for the comment and giving me the opportunity to answer it. I'm not expecting you to change your mind or anything, but I definitely had answers for your charges. All right. Peace. This is the Garage Autonomist, and I am out.